Hey, and welcome back to the Hobby Farm. Thanks for tuning into the channel. This is week 6 of the competition build-off series, and in this week I announce another major upgrade to the axial base camp. So let's jump in and see what that is. That is a new transmission. This is a stock transmission. It's big, it's bulky, and it's heavy. So what I'm going to be replacing it with is a Dlux fabrication portal transmission. This is lightweight, compact, and powerful. Now with this transmission, I'm going to be able to move the motor from a rear-facing motor to a front-facing motor, as well as taking these two items and moving one of them over here. So with all of that, I'm going to be biasing my weight more towards the front. So after installing the portal transmission from Dlux Fab, I ended up saving 115 grams on this build. And I was able to move the motor to a forward-facing position. So let's take a look at what this rig weighed before the transmission swap. And now let's take a look at what this rig weighs after the new portal transmission. Alright, that's enough about the technicalities. Let's jump into what we all have been waiting for. Let's take a look at that new transmission. And there we go. No more big bulky transmission. Just this little thing. It was a bit of a challenge to get it to sit flush on the stock skid. I had to take a Dremel tool to be able to cut out some pieces to be able to make that happen. I was able to take off these rock sliders, which was going to save me a little bit more weight on this build. And I moved the receiver box up here as it weighed more than the ESC. So the ESC right now I just have Velcroed to the big trail battery for the time being. I do have a comp battery I'm going to stick in there a little bit later, but for now this is just how it's going to be. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. Let's go see how it performs out on the track and see what the guys have done this week for their upgrades. All right, and we're back at the bench. Gabe threw those 2.2 tires on his rig and turned it into an absolute monster. I'm pretty sure he can go over anything at this point. And I believe he set a new track record for that back section at 19 seconds. Now the Basecamp did good as well, but I'm not really sure how to put a metric to that new transmission other than the weight savings that it's provided us. Now speaking of weight, this is the lightest this rig's going to be. And moving forward, I'm going to try to reach a goal of 6 pounds. I think week 6 is a little bit lacking of content, so what I'm going to do is move into week 7. And week 7 is body modifications. So if you notice in the video, this back end gets caught up and hung up on rocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3/4 of an inch out of this bed and move it forward to be able to remedy that. So let me be right back and I'll show you the piece that I've cut out. All right, and I'm back. So I ended up cutting off about 3/4 of an inch out of the bed. And this is the tailgate, and this tailgate is going to go sit up and inside of the body, just like so. And what I'm going to use to secure that is a 3mm nut and screw. And I've got 5 holes already pre-drilled. 1 at the bottom, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let me go ahead and remove this tape, get this installed, and I'll show you guys the end result. All right, and here's the finished product. I think it turned out really nice. Nice and flush, nice and smooth back there. I did go with the black screws and nuts. That way it kind of hides my work a little bit better than the silver ones. And I do not have a rear bumper right now, but when I do, I think it's going to sit nice and flush against this tailgate. So I'm really happy with it. I'm excited to see if it still grabs or does not grab any rocks. So let's go test it out and let's go see what everybody's modifications are for this week. Well, that's a nice new body for the TRX.
It ain't just a body, it's a whole new thing.
What do you mean it's a whole new thing?
I saved my money and that's what I bought.
Oh, bull, you can't do that.
Yes.
No, you can't.
There was no rules that said we couldn't not spend our money on how it is.
Well, how much is that?
$450.
No, that ain't either. That's like $1,000 rig.
That's what I got.
Ugh.
Saved my money and bought it. That's a gray area.
Look at this. Look at this. A gray area. Yeah. That's a black area.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Look at this thing. Weights, motor, suspension, Rock Pirates rock sliders, wheels, tires, $450. Shit. right, we're back at the bench. The base camp did pretty good, I feel. Took that inch off, and it didn't get hung up on the rocks nearly as bad. It's still a little bit noisy, but that's just the body. Aaron's rig did really well. He still got hung up on the rocks with that little bit longer of a body, but he made it over that tire really, really easily. He has those long 120 millimeter Desert Lizard shocks and was able to just kind of stretch out over that and grab a hold of that tire and make it over. It was really nice. Now, I think those are a little bit of a problem in the other sections of the track as well. With those long reach, he kind of gets stuck in the holes, if you notice. His front shocks will kind of dip down and grab into those openings of the track where the logs kind of cross, and it gets kind of bound up. So that's a drawback to having that long shock, so to speak. Now, Gabe, he's still just an overall bulldozer to the whole track. He's just going over everything. And as usual, like myself, he's still struggling on the tire. Now, we're going to move into Kalob, and Kalob's just a whole different ball game. I think Kalob's cheating. Now, I'm getting a lot of pushback from the other guys that is saying he used his budget to the max. Yeah, I guess so. He definitely did. He got one heck of a deal. So, I'm not real happy with it, but, you know, everybody's in agreement minus myself. There's, I think, a bit of a gray area, black definitely, midnight black area to that build, but he's happy with it. And he's going to stick with that and I think move forward with it instead of the TRX. So that's going to conclude this week. So I hope you enjoyed the video. So make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because if that's not cheating, then next week I won't be either. Stay tuned to find out what happens next week in the build competition series, and thank you for watching.